big news up north, because Measure A proponents deceived the public on a Humboldt cannabis initiative, they're saying. I think this is all coming from the opposition. But on Wednesday, October 11th, 7 small cannabis farmers, along with the Humboldt County Growers Alliance, filed a suit in Humboldt County Court on the grounds that signature gathering efforts for the Humboldt Cannabis Reform Initiative, currently slated to appear on the March 5th, 2024 ballot, were based on a lie. In a quote, if the signature gathering efforts for Measure A were truthful, this initiative never would have made it to the ballot, said Nataline DeLapp, HGCA's executive director, claiming to protect small cannabis farmers and public participation, while in fact targeting small cannabis farmers with a panoply of new restrictions and locking broken policy in place permanently is exactly the subversion of democratic process that election laws are designed to prevent. Throughout 2022, signature gatherers approached Humboldt voters at farmers markets, grocery stores, and fairs, asking voters to sign an initiative petition they said would ensure greater public participation and support small-scale, high-quality cannabis cultivation. The lawsuit documents how Measure A's backers included materially false and misleading information that deceived voters into believing the initiative was about restricting large-scale cultivation and failed to include the full text of the initiative as required by law. The reality is that Measure A would be a disaster for public safety and the environment, fatally undermining the regulatory framework that was designed to end the harms of prohibition and the social and environmental impacts of the green rush, DeLapp continued. When the proponents decided to write policy beyond closed doors and ignore the input of law enforcement, environmental groups, farmers, and regulators, the result would always be chaos, not a functional program that protects county residents, they say. Measure A would effectively repeal and replace 143 pages of county cannabis ordinances developed over 8 years of public deliberation, and yet none of this was disclosed to voters, who were told they were simply protecting small farmers, said Ross Gordon, HGCA's policy director. The planning department's recent analysis of Measure A has made it clear how dangerous this policy would be, but we never would have been in this position in the first place if the proponents had simply disclosed the truth about what this initiative does. Well, what do you think about this? Is this Measure A just a whole big farce designed by prohibitionists to stomp out the little guy? I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this. And this is Jason Beck for the High at 9 News.
More shit to push out the little guy. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Is that your final answer?
Yes, it is.
Okay, interesting. Yes. Good morning, Tony. We're getting some feedback from your side, I think.
Feedback, bad feedback? It shouldn't be feedback.
No, never mind. Sorry, we got it fixed over here. Yes. So
Okay.
did you hear the story about Measure A and what's happening up there in the northern part of the state?
Lying.
Of course. I mean, but it's always going to be the same thing. Lie so you can continue to step on the little guy. The sad thing is that people just keep believing a lie and no one shuts it down. There's enough people to shut down a lie because people just don't have to comply.
I've seen a lot of activists out there basically in support of this Measure A and trying to ensure its passage. So I'm a little bit confused by this press release and what's coming out, especially with the organizations that are involved.
I'm not surprised because the American population is inherently uneducated. And because of this, because I'm trying to say it without being offensive, but the majority of people in this country are not educated. So because they're easily misled and manipulated, you're going to see people outside begging for you to cut off their noses, not realizing they're asking you to actually cut off their own nose specifically. You know, it's just what it is. It's the nature of the beast.
They're trying to add a bunch of new regulations. They're trying to, and they sold it as something that it wasn't. It sounds a lot like they use the same game plan to with the Uber. You remember the Uber
Oh
and Lyft
yeah,
drivers, and
with the
they're trying to get benefits and
private
everything, and
contractor law they passed here in
yeah,
California in regards to that.
yeah, they're just like, yo, like this is the only job that we can have right now, especially in the pandemic. We're not protected. Just give us some fucking benefits. We're essentially working for like I think it was like 4.75 an hour when it all said
Oh,
and done. You're depleting the value of your car and all this other crazy stuff. And then they put up a whole bunch of money, did a ballot initiative, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, like Uber's the good guy." Just ended
people
up
be
winning.
tripping, bro. People be tripping on this whole thing, man. I'll tell you right there.
Yeah, make sure
Interesting.
you get this is a classic case of follow the money, man. Follow the money, see who's actually backing these initiatives, backing these ballot initiatives and everything, and just know the facts. So like big shout out to Humboldt County
Remember,
Humboldt County Growers Alliance and the farmers that stepped up and entered into this lawsuit because it probably would have gone through if you have a bunch of
Oh yes.
advocates for the plant, activists and everything, saying that, "Oh yeah, this is good." I feel the same way about safe banking, man.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the same way about safe banking. Like a lot of people are behind that stuff, and
I'm
it's not
not.
going.
I'm not behind it because that's how I made my millions. They didn't have
Yeah,
that.
like dude, like people behind, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people behind safe banking. It's just gonna speed up the pain, man. You can speed up the pain.
I mean, maybe that's what some people need is some speed up in their pain.
Uh,
Is it? Yeah, it's like Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. Do you want to slowly peel that thing off? Slowly peel that
Oh
band
no,
off.
rip
You just
that
want to rip
band-aid
it
right,
all,
rip the band-aid
rip it
right
either
all the
off.
way
way,
off.
look,
Pow.
look, either way, somebody on either side of that onion is gonna cry.
Right, right,
Yes,
right.
exactly.
Real talk.
Someone's gonna cry. People aren't. You're never gonna make
Someone's gonna
everybody
cry.
happy. You're never gonna make
Somebody
everyone
likes
happy.
onions on one side, they're not gonna cry, and somebody on the other side completely despises it. They're gonna be crying. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know what this remind me of?
What's that?
I see we don't have a lot of people here today, so I guess we get to kind of,
Yeah, we get to ping pong a little
yeah, we
bit.
get
Yeah.
to get our shit off a little bit.
Get,
This
a ban-
reminds me of
get our banter on. Let's
we get
go.
our banter on. Shout out to my brothers in banter today. That's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
our inside thing. The
All
rest of
right.
the no show is pull up. But you know what this reminds me of? Scooby Doo
What's that?
episodes where they doing all this hunting, and when they finally pull the wool off, they're like, it's
Mm-hmm.
like
Yes.
the same shit.
It,
It's the
it was
same
him
shit.
all
Exactly.
along.
It's him
Exactly.
all
This is,
along.
Ah,
Big
gotcha.
dog. Uncle
Gotcha.
Sam.
oh man.
Look, pull it up, Uncle Sam again. Like
Mm-hmm.
same thing, buddy.
Yep.
Exactly. Ben LeBone, and shout out to Ben LeBone. He's the one that sent me this thing in the morning. He says the initiative organizers were very sneaky rather than straightforward. He says, and so interesting that the people of Humboldt are trying to pull the wool over the eyes of the people in Humboldt. But well,
Man, Humboldt County got some good weed because I used to come up
Yeah.
there. Let me tell you, there's like a cliff. Like I don't know if anyone knows. Like it's like driving through the back roads. You got to go like through like
there's
a
a
little
lot of cliffs
forest or
up
something
there.
like
There's a
that.
lot of those
Or
up there.
man, I went through these. I'm talking about like you literally be in a car and like your passenger would look over and be like, dude, fucking drive. It's literally
Sounds like
you look over.
it sounds like you were driving through Alder Point.
That's where I was. All the point. Yep,
Yeah,
that's the point.
Alder
That's what we
Point.
used to
Just so
say.
you know, there was a major Netflix movie done about that region called Murder Mountain. You should definitely check out sometime. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I would love to look
Yeah,
at it. That's great. Let me write that down.
Yeah, Murder Mountain.
Yeah,
Murder
But I
Mountain. It's
thought
on
about it.
Netflix.
Yo, there's like a
also
little
reminds
like when
me.
you
This also reminds me of like the last election season. A lot of people weren't aware that there's like 7 states in the union never abolished slavery, right? And so of those states, Louisiana was in the mix. In Louisiana, on their version to finally abolish it, they worded it really, really cleverly and tried to get people to vote to keep it as is.
Mm.
Same exact shit, man. Same shit, different toilet.
Oh,
They always trying to push us back. It's never for the people, man.
All bad. On that
Burn it
note,
up.
anybody in Louisiana, for everybody in Louisiana, I want to say this to you sincerely from the bottom of my heart. If you're watching this, and you should be watching this, and you're not watching this, then shame on you. That means you smoke Blue Dream, boof. And that means that you
Yes.
deserve these policies that they're out there putting against you. But if you're watching us from Louisiana, Please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and never, ever, 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 ever tune in anywhere else. Let's get to the next one.
Yes, we got to go to a commercial, and we're going to be right back.